What's going on, guys? Tonight we are going to talk about risk management, and more specifically, we're going to talk a bit about position sizing. So, position sizing is an incredibly important aspect of trading and managing risk, and I'm sure many of you know from personal experience, unfortunately, it's not surprising that poor position sizing is what kills most traders' accounts. Especially when it comes to options trading, new traders kind of tend to have they kind of tend to be way too aggressive early on, and all that kind of leads to is ruining your account and making you a little bit more hesitant to trade in the future. And that's not what we want. We want you guys to be able to make, an income and grow wealth over time through trading. So it's best to have some sort of guidelines in terms of managing risk in place at all times. So you got to learn the proper balance between what is risking too much of the capital you have and what is not risking enough. And keep in mind, everyone's account is different. Some people have smaller Some people have smaller amounts than others. Some people have more. Some people might be trading with a portion of their life savings, where the next guy could be just simply trading with some cash he saved up on the side. For the discussion we're going to have here, we're just going to talk in general terms of, your average new trader. And these are just some guidelines you should have in place to help you manage risk early on in your trading career. So for me, what I suggest in terms of position sizing is that at any given time, your total risk should never be more than 10% of equity. So what that means, we can use the example of a $10,000 account. What that means is that 10% of equity, at any given time, your max open risk should be $1,000. Now, what do we mean by risk? In trading, there's a lot of different terms for risk. You might hear exposure, total exposure, heat, but put it in plain English, risk is the amount of your capital that is currently invested in your trades. So if you have an account and the only trade you're currently in is in ABC stock, and when you enter the trade you bought 10 shares at $10, that's a $100 position size. That is your max risk, is the $100. So basically the size of your investment is your risk. So what we're saying here is that at any given time, regardless of how many positions you have open, your total risk should never exceed 10% of your total capital. So if you have a $1,000 account, it's probably ideal to never be risking more than $100 early on in your trading as you get comfortable. So why 10%? Because in my opinion, I found that it's a happy balance. This is what's important. You have basically two kinds of traders, and this is regarding newer traders. You have the guy who comes in and he's afraid to put any money to work. He's afraid to take a loss. The money that he has in his account is too valuable to him, too big of an account, and he's just not comfortable taking any kind of meaningful size risk at all. Then you have the other trader, the young buck, who comes in all gung-ho, and he's ready to put half his account or all of his account on one trade. So you got to kind of chill out. I think 10% is a good happy balance between the potential for good gains and small losses. Keep in mind, if you're not trading options, you could put a little bit more to work, but my focus is on options, as is the majority of our group. So this example, this kind of discussion, is focused on an options trader. So 10%, let's say you have $1,000, guys. That would mean at any given time, the most of your capital you should have at risk shouldn't exceed $100. Here's why that's good. I found personally my average numbers with the options trades are, an average profit of 100% plus and an average loss of about 20 to 30%. So with a $1,000 account, you could have the max risk of $100 out in any trade. Now keep in mind, you can take that $100 and you can put 50 in one trade, 50 in another. You could put the full 100 into one trade, or you could split it amongst 4 and do 25. Again, you choose how you wish to allocate your capital. The reason 10% is a good number is because let's say you can keep your max loss on an options trade to call it 25%. Well, with a $100 position or $100 max risk open, you take a 20-25% loss, you're only going to lose $25. Now that's not life-changing. That's not going to put you out in the streets. It's not going to have you sweating your bills. So, okay, not a big deal. However, you put that $100 risk out into some options trades and you get a 100% return. Well, now you got an extra $100 in your account. Now your entire account is up 10%. And keep in mind, guys, outside of the options world, these hedge funds and mutual funds, they're aiming to make 5 to 10% on their clients' capital a year. So if we're taking 10% position sizes and we catch a double, you've now grown your entire account by 10% from one trade while only risking 10% of your entire account. Those are the kinds of numbers that work out. Now, I'm not your math teacher, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you what 10% would be of any given account, but very simple, guys. And I know a lot of you are probably hearing this and saying, well, that doesn't sound like much. I got $1,000. I'd rather put, 500 to work. Options provide the potential for such quick and large gains, guys, that you just simply need to be patient. Don't rush the process. Don't see the gains that I make and the other guys in the group make and fool yourself into thinking that every trade is going to work. Because you might take half your account, put it on one trade, and it works. That's great. You look like a hero. You feel great. But what happens on that next trade if you lose 50%? Now your account's in some trouble. You never want to put yourself in a position where you're playing catch up, because that sucks. You don't want to have a $1,000 account, take it up to $1,500, and then blow it back to $500. Now you're going to spend a few weeks, months, who knows how long, given the market conditions, playing catch up. Our goal as a trader, day by day, week by week, month by month, is to just move our accounts higher. And I promise you guys, if you learn to just master the process of trading options, it won't take you long to call it $1,000 account and turn it into $2,000, and to then take that 2 and turn it into $4,000, and then repeat the process 4 to 8, 8 to 16,000. And you don't need to be taking inappropriate size risks. Always approach it with this in mind. I want to be able to trade tomorrow, and I don't want to dig myself out of a hole. So get out your calculator, guys, and very simple. Use this as a ballpark. Now, for those of you with more experience under your belt, who know how to manage risk and who have a feel for their performance numbers, you can, of course, put more than 10% of your equity to work. For you newer guys, please stay in some kind of guideline. Do not rush the process. I didn't get where I am overnight, and neither did any other good trader. Do not rush it. You always want to live to play another day. So don't go blow your load on one trade and then wake up the next day pissed off as all hell. You got to remember, the market is designed to take money from us. So anytime you're getting out of pocket, taking bigger risks than you really should be, all it takes is one trade to go against you guys, and you can ruin weeks and months of profitable trading and forward momentum. So, new guys, take out your calculator, figure out what 10% of your total equity is, and just stick to that, or make it 15%. It really shouldn't be much higher than that. And again, it does not take many trades with 10% equity at risk to double your account trading options. Be patient, do not rush the process, and live to trade another day. It's that simple. So 10% of your equity, you could have that all in one trade, you could have that in 2, in 5, whatever it may be. Know your total heat, know how much you have at risk, and don't get caught with your pants down, guys. That's all I got for you tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.